here's the thing, and I don't know if this is what you're getting at, Jim, that mid-latitude systems are bigger than tropical entities, or were you hinting at something else?
Well, it's an MCS, and I'll show you later on satellite how much bigger it is.
Well.
Yeah, I know. We didn't talk about this.
I'm not quite sure exactly. There's so many different things, right? We're talking about hot dogs for a show. There's so many different ways that could have gone. So that was my guess, which is a true statement still. Yes. You know.
Yes, very much so.
So there's that. So there's your showers that are coming through. Today we will see the possibility of some thunderstorms. Tomorrow we have a higher possibility around Lincoln, over to Iowa, and down into Kansas. So this is what Jim was mentioning. Mesoscale convective system essentially is a cluster of thunderstorms that lasts for a long time, can put down some very heavy rain, can put down some strong winds. And the reason he was saying that is because, yes, mid-latitude systems are bigger, but this is an MCS. This is a little bit smaller than like your fronts or your low pressures, but still bigger than Ernesto. Ernesto's still getting its act together. And I'll tell you what, Ernesto is going to be quite large in the coming days, all right? So watch out for that. Here's a look underneath the clouds, taking you down into that cluster of thunderstorms, bringing some severe weather for us into Kansas, Wichita, just north of the city. We are seeing very strong thunderstorms, very heavy rain. Everything's kind of bowing out. That's an indication of some stronger winds, and this little cluster will continue its path as we go through the morning hours, make its way forward towards Kansas. It holds together into Missouri as we head into the morning hours, but you can see that it's going to lose some of that oomph, and we'll see a lot of that still into Kansas, and plenty of showers popping up in the Intermountain West for us as we go through the day. And then we get another line that's coming through, and this is really the pattern that we're in right now, is that you get some storms to go through, and then you clear out, and then you get another round to come through. So we're going to see that over and over as we go through the week, as these disturbances just kind of ride eastbound for us. They're going to pull up that moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. So that means on Thursday, from Milwaukee to Chicago to St. Louis and Paducah, we have that threat for strong thunderstorms. So if you're doing any traveling in this area, maybe moving into your college dorm, you're going to have to be dealing with some rain. There's nothing like moving when it's raining. Oy. It will be a wet one around the Great Lakes for our Thursday. As we head into our Friday, it's going to moving east. Jordan, this area doesn't necessarily need any more rain. We need to kind of shift that a little bit westbound. If we could, we'll get it. But, of course, there could be flooding all the way through our Thursday. Ooh, look at Wichita. I think I just saw a little stroke of lightning there on the screen. But flooding will be the biggest takeaway from this.
I lived in an 8.
For Bermuda.
Great question.
Right? Sometimes it takes a little time.
Absolutely.
So, let's have a look at what we are talking about here. It goes through Puerto Rico today, tomorrow. We're still going to feel it. And then as it goes north of the islands, it really intensifies, makes its way towards Bermuda as we essentially head into our Saturday. And look at the warm water temperatures. This is going over. Plenty warm for strengthening to occur here. And notice 110, that is a Category 2 hurricane, but there is that potential. It could be stronger. If you do look at some of the models, this thing does really intensify as it's off the coast. And by the way, that is just going to push all these waves that you're seeing in places like Bermuda that we were just showing you. They're all going to propagate out and get to the East Coast. So if you are not yet in school and you're heading to the beach, you actually could have really rough surf as we head into really kind of our, let's say, Friday into Saturday, when this is making its journey from the islands to Bermuda. So there's the high pressure that Cantori was talking about, and there's our trough. And they're both low pressures, essentially, and so it's going to pull it up. They like each other. They want to hang out. It's going to pull the system northbound, and see, it becomes a Category 2. Look at the winds, and then, of course, the rip current and waves as everything pushes out. You'd be surprised. Even being this far away, you will notice a difference at the beach with the waves. I mean, they really kind of push everything quite a distance here. And you like, if you're a surfer, you like the storms to be farther away because you get these nice swells that come in. Right, Jordan? Yeah. Exactly. I've learned a thing or two in my years here. So right now, our rip currents, moderate to low, but we expect those to get worse as this system makes its way northbound here. And there's a look at all the swells that will be coming in, especially into our Friday. And, of course, Bermuda could really feel the impacts of this system as it passes by when it comes to wind and also some very heavy rainfall. But this thing is moving very fast. So if you see flags, of course, double red flags, I'd say even when it's yellow, I've been at some beaches sometimes when it's yellow, and those waves will knock you off your feet. So be really, really careful. Always, always, always swim by a lifeguard. They're super friendly. You can ask them a million questions. They really do, Jordan, it seems, I'm not a lifeguard, but they seem to really like when people come up and talk to them. They're just, sitting there all day. A little chat is good.
It is very good. And of course, you could learn a few things if you go and chat with them.
Back to America's Morning headquarters alongside meteorologist Jordan Steele and Jim Cantori. I'm meteorologist Stephaie Abrams. A swath of rain and storms is locked in across the central U.S., some of which could be severe, and the threat doesn't die down today. We also could see a lot of flash flooding. And Ernesto, speaking of flash flooding, is strengthening. And it does look like it is going to bring flooding rain to the islands and then eventually turn into a hurricane. It'll make its way towards Bermuda as we head into the weekend. Details on both of these in this half hour of America's Morning headquarters. We're going to start you off with the storms. Jordan has those. And Jordan, it's kind of like storm after storm after storm coming through.
Yes, indeed. Some of
U.S. mainland, we are dealing with rounds of storms in the central states. They could turn severe as we have a swath of rain from the Mountain West to the Midwest. Jordan.
And unfortunately, that rain.
People think, oh, hurricanes and tropical storms are massive. And I'm not trying to say that they're small, but there's a lot of other types of weather that we experience that actually in size are a lot bigger than tropical entities. When you talk about synoptic scale systems like fronts and low pressures, those are way bigger than a tropical storm or hurricane. In fact, those are what move them around. Wow, did you just see that lightning into Wichita? There's a lot going on right now, so let's get to it here and talk about what Jim was mentioning.